What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
If you have watched this video so far,
You know what's crazy? I've been sharing this video, and I looked at it from. I've been sharing my lives, and I looked at my lives from other accounts, and it shows content unavailable. And then I looked at my page, my art page, and there's absolutely no videos on there at all. My lives, I mean, all of it, it's all gone. So I'm like, it's got to be some kind of settings, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of getting on my nerves. Facebook is annoying. Like, they want you to pay, period. If you don't pay, then they're not going to allow you to share and all that. So, I mean, that's Facebook. Scandalocious. But yeah, I have a Nisqually Inspired design today. I just want to give a shout out to my nephew, Daniel Blackader. He's my nephew Indian way. You know how that goes. We got our brothers, we got our sisters, we got our aunties and our uncles, and our grandmas, our moms and our dads. We ain't even related. We just call them that because that's the Indian way. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna be doing a lot of shifting and spinning and twisting. I play to my strengths when I draw, so I draw straight lines with my right hand, pointing to the left and going up and down, basically, or at an angle. Depends on where my elbow is pivoted. It all depends. So yeah. Anyways, remember the giveaway. All you got to do is like and share the video and comment. Done. That's it. That's all you have to do. And you automatically qualify for a giveaway. We're announcing yesterday's winner after the live. In which I mix some linseed oil. All right. So I'm doing this on. This is my natural wood finish mix. That's all right. I had an idea. For up there anyway, so it doesn't matter if I marked it up there. It's a happy accident. Remember my guy, Bob Ross. It was a happy accident, and we're gonna make it. We're gonna incorporate it later. Watch. Everything is connected, and honestly. So this paper I'm trying, it's a little bit different. I like using linen texture paper. And the paper I've been using has been amazing. This paper feels a little funky. This is the first time drawing on this kind of paper, but yeah, this is a Nisqually Inspired design. So I hope you guys like this, man. I said yes, because that means more food, and I made this structure from materials that I found around our house. See this build in a moment. Yeah, this paper feels weird. Recently, and I was asked to give advice. Me to give advice? Really? Okay. On how to become more sustainable in your approach to woodworking and building in general. So my answer is to be less perfect. Accept that your project has a rustic look. Enjoy the story rather than the flaws. There's probably many. I made this wall in my workshop from pellet offcuts, and it has become the thing that people talk about. So I need to invest in another computer and in order to see everyone's comments on every platform. I use Restream, and the cabin is coming along nicely. It doesn't show the comments. It only shows the comments on Twitch for some reason. But you can check all my channels if you have a chance. Just look up Speak Thunder. You'll find me on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. I know that I only get Twitch comments because people are always messaging you on Twitch trying to sell stuff. Yeah.
I promised to show you the pallet down table and the lock benches 4 years later, and here I am in the future, not keeping
Yeah,
you
so I
in the
put
dark
the
any longer.
I put the little words down here because I just don't want to keep repeating it over and over.
Nothing has been done
Like,
to this table after I finished it.
people
Here's the problem.
are sharing videos, random videos,
and when they expand
and I'm like, share the, make sure you share the original.
I didn't know about wood movement when I made this table. The log benches made from green poplar are holding up very nicely. There's one right here in the greenhouse in perfect condition, but the others have been left outside for the last 3 years, so let's take a look at them.
Yeah, they keep sharing the wrong videos, commenting on the wrong stuff, and it's like, dude, just share the live. I'm working on, adjusting it and making sure it works for everyone,
And these were just some poplar branches.
Making it as simple as possible to win, basically.
Of the poly greenhouse and the reclaimed workbench.
I really like watching these building videos, and it's super relaxing. Like, I really enjoy it.
My wife and I wanted a polytunnel greenhouse so we could grow more and become self-sufficient with vegetables.
Yeah, this paper feels really weird, but you know what? We just got to keep trucking it. We got to adapt. We got to adjust. We got to succeed. And we got to be resilient.
I wanted to get rid of. And I thought it might work as structure or hoops for the tunnel. First, I had to
so this paper has a ton of ridges.
I could build the tunnel.
My other one had ridges, but they were subtle. This one, it's like, it's a little more
After measuring the wireness and consulting
just
with
subtle.
my wife, of course, who wanted as big a tunnel as possible, I decided to go for a
so it's a little harder to make those straight lines.
And 2.5 meter tall.
And it probably wears. It's probably going to wear down my pins.
I cut the wireness to size
a lot more.
When cutting with my angle grinder, I realized I could just have used my bolt cutter for the thin wire. So I have the wireness and the basic layout for the bottom frame.
As we go, I plan on getting better pins as well. Like, I'm not just going to stick to Sharpies. I really like using Indiana ink, archival ink, archival, whatever you want to call it.
For some time, so I will have to move that. I figure this could make a start for some compost bins, so I'll start by building a compost bin. This is the site for the compost bins, and after cleaning the area, I go find some stuff to build from. So, if you didn't skip anything up till now, you know that I'm a pallet guy. So, I'll just use 4 pallets and 12 screws, and then I think I have made myself a compost bin. So one of the 2 things that I bought for this build was 4 concrete foundation blocks, the same kind we used for the cabin, to make sure
Give
the
me one
tunnel
sec.
does not blow away in the storm.
I'm not getting your
And it
guys'
will also
comments
lift the wooden base a bit
on my
off the
live
ground,
stream,
so
so
I'll just need to dig 4 holes to put the blocks in. One of the cool things about these foundation blocks is that you can adjust the height of them after you have put them into the ground. That's a good feature as the site is not level here.
okay. Got it. Says we have one viewer, but I don't know if that's me or what.
Enough for the fitting on the concrete blocks or long enough for the full length of the tunnel, so I'll just need to add some blocks and prolong the rafting a little. I always use wood glue when screwing 2 pieces of wood together. It holds up so much better. I'm adding supports in the corners and in the center of each side. Before I go on, I treat the base with some clear wood preserver on all the sides. When everything seems pretty low, I fasten the base to the foundation blocks.
Anybody else like watching these construction videos? Because like I just listen to it and watch it. I'll fall asleep watching these videos. This guy's building a cabin right now, and I just like that background noise, you know.
These metal strap things work perfect to fasten the wire mesh to the base frame. I shifted between mounting them horizontally and vertically to be sure the wire mesh would not move.
Yeah, so I put it like 3 times on there. I said like, share, comment live videos to officially enter in daily giveaway.
In the first half of the tunnel, I put up some structure that will hold the wire mesh in place and give me something to mount a door on.
My nephew, the one who inspired me to do this design, he's waiting for me to send him the digital file, which I still have yet to do. But shout out to my nephew. I've known him since he was 2 or 3 years old. Indian way. I I was best friends with his uncle, Tony George, from the Yakima Nation. I grew up with Tony at Chief Leshai. Chief Leshai is where I learned how to do this style of art, and I've been doing that since second grade. But anyway, the nephew used to live with us. His father is Tony George's uncle, and we lived with his auntie, Leora George, and she sort of just took me in, and I was kind of a wild child, and I just kind of lived here and there, and I kind of didn't have nowhere to go. My home was very unstable. We didn't really have food. That no one to like cook for us. I remember eating a lot of canned stuff and finding corn or something and figuring out how to open it and all that. Like I just learned how to survive, And then when I went and I started going to Tony's house, and Tony and all his brothers were pretty much taken underneath Leora's wing, and Leora's also from the Yakima Nation. Anyway, her son Glenn. That's why Glenn Blacketer, he passed away a couple of years back. Glenn had a son, and his name is Daniel. Daniel is named after his uncle, Glenn's brother. And I remember Daniel too, Glenn's brother. And they have another brother named Melvin Blacketer. And Linda was the teacher for like my fifth grade, I think, class. Linda and Miss Van B, formerly known as Miss Van B, now Miss Mays. She married my math teacher at Chief Leshai. And awesome people. Anyway, Leora took me in, and I am very grateful. I was taken out of a very toxic environment. And and it was thanks to her, and she could have easily, turned me into like children's services or something, She could have easily told me, you need to go home, you can't be here. But she didn't, she probably knew, there was some things going on at home, and I imagine, she was really wise. She is really wise, she knew things like when we were getting into trouble and we try to be sneaky or something. She didn't catch everything. We got away with some stuff, but she was super smart. Like it used to trip me out, and it wasn't her first rodeo because she had already raised her boys and her daughter. And we were just a happy little addition. But anyway, I have a long history with them. Tony George was my best friend growing up. And Daniel was a little baby, 2 or 3 years old, running around in his little pamper, little snot-nosed guy. And he was a good kid. Him and Leo George, my other nephew. Leo's awesome too. Leo ended up having kids with my niece, my blood niece. But Leo, he's an awesome kid, man. I think he works at he was working for the Puyallup tribe for a while. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. I haven't been living up there, so I'm not 100% sure how everyone's doing. I remember Melvin used to work for Chief Leshai. He was our PE teacher. Great, amazing athlete, man. He had all kinds of crazy stories about running super fast and eating whole pizzas and all that. I remember. And then that family life, I got to experience that over at Tony's auntie Leora's. So if you guys are from Nisqually or Puyallup or Yakima and you know Leora George, yeah, she's awesome people. And probably saved me from a lot of bad situations, when I was in elementary. And it just wasn't a very good place to be. And so, yeah, thanks to, shout out to Leora and her family, the Georges. I ended up becoming really close with the George family on the river, my Uncle Losh. And like I said, Indian way, we just, and it turns out my father went to Chamawa and he was really close with the George family there in Chamawa boarding school in Salem, Oregon. Also, my great grandparents, Agnes Dowd and George Berry Sr., they actually met in Chamawa. So, I mean, it's really crazy. Indian country it always comes full circle, and we're all connected one way or another. But so the George family has been in my life, since before I was born, basically. So we're connected, in a few generations. The George and the Berry family, in a way, But yeah, Tony used to be my best friend. We went on different paths. He went down a road where I was following for a while, but a reality check when people started dying around me. That's when I started changing my life around. And one of my friends that I grew up with, he ended up passing away. There was a huge falling out between all the kids and Chief Leshai, and everybody was trying to join gangs and be cool, and he ended up dying. One of my friends stabbed him. They were both my friends, but we were all mixed up with gangs and stuff, and we had the wrong people influencing our lives. And yeah, it was crazy. We didn't have the greatest influences, examples of what a man is and what a family is. We just didn't have that, and we ended up all fighting. And then people started dying. People started going to prison, and actually the Puyallup tribe said that I was like a danger to the tribe. And so they shipped me out. I was a ward of the court for the Puyallup Nation. And they shipped me out and dropped me off at the group home in Warm Springs when I was like 14. And I don't blame them. I was a crazy kid, I really needed help. I really needed help desperately. There was so much chaos in my heart and my mind, and I just ended up, in gangs. And it was a good thing I came back home to my father's reservation here in Warm Springs, and all of that crazy energy I had from being in gangs and fighting all the time, it was converted over, and I ended up getting in the rodeo, and I started riding bulls in Bronx, and it was through there, riding bulls in Bronx. That's where I was able to channel all that energy, and chaos, and I could ride bulls in Bronx, and just it was amazing. And so I rode for a couple of years with my uncle Billy Joe Barry. Billy Joe is my dad's little brother. So Billy Joe took me in, and he showed me how to ride bulls in Bronx. And my older brother Juice, shout out to those guys. I'm not sure where they're at today, but I hope their day is going well. But they taught me a lot, riding bulls in Bronx, and I honestly think rodeo saved my life. I probably would have continued down that same path. I probably would be in prison or dead right now, and lo and behold, my uncle, he was a preacher at that time. So I got to spend time learning about our Creator. I got to spend time coming from that chaotic realm, filled with drugs and alcohol. Um, I started learning a lot about my culture, my tribe, my people, what I grew up doing, not knowing the depth of what was behind our seven drums ceremony, and just learning more and more over time. It's been amazing, and I just want to thank the creator, for giving us that way, the seven drums. And I think about it all the time when I wake up, when I lay down. I try to be in prayer, and not let my thoughts wander, and remember, there is a creator, and he did guide me, and he did gift me so many things, besides art. And, it's been awesome. Um, Riding bulls in Bronx was just, oh man, I still think about it a lot. I really do. I rode a bull in September, and if you look on my Instagram, I never changed the picture. I was so happy, and it was perfect because I didn't get any broken bones. So, I mean, I was really happy with the ride. So, even though this paper is a little grainy, I feel like, even though this paper is a little grainy, it actually holds the ink really well, like really well. And it doesn't like blotch up a whole lot. So that is a huge plus. It's really taking the ink well. It doesn't look like I'm scribbling all over on it. I really like this. I started doing pen and inks from watching my other Indian uncle, Indian way. His name was Willie Folks, and him and my uncle Dana Sportsman, Atwai Dana Sportsman. They were just awesome dudes, man. They were crazy. They lived a crazy life, but I loved them so much. I looked up to them, and they were always off in the city getting into trouble somewhere. But I mean, I'm just glad that I got to know them. And so my uncle Willie Folks, he was an amazing coastal artist, just one of the best in the world, easily. He can just sit down. He would sit down and do this art all day, all day. And it was so awesome. Like, man, he just had this amazing skill. And him and my uncle, unfortunately, were in that realm of drinking and doing drugs. And unfortunately, they both passed, the same way, heroin overdose. And it was crazy because both of them had recovered, and both of them were doing extremely well. And I thought, we were going to have them forever after that. And then they both ended up passing away the same way, and it was super sad, man. But he was definitely one of my mentors and teachers. That's why Willie Folks. Um, I would just watch him draw when I was a kid, and I knew how to do the same art. But this guy would just sit down and not just work for hours, but he would freehand everything. I've been sketching everything out for the sake of the video, and it's really helpful to have a plan, like what I'm going to be drawing. And I used to just draw whatever all the time, and now, like, it's a lot more structured, and I want to know what I'm going to be drawing tomorrow for you guys, and I want to plan it. And I'm working on being organized, and I just want to thank you guys for bearing with me. But I'm working on being organized and just coming professionally. But my uncle, he just drew. He just would sit down and freehand just elaborate designs. And I don't know, like, it was crazy. He's definitely one of the most talented coastal artists I've ever seen in my life. And there's some pretty awesome artists. Right now, my favorite artist is Langley or Lang. I can't remember. I'm so bad with names, but Langley. it's gonna bug me. But he really inspired me to get back into it. Also, um, Peterson from the Puyallup Nation, he actually inspired me to do full-time art. I was training to be an electrician, and I got called to do the to help with the art at the Emerald Queen Casino in Tacoma. So some relatives asked me, you know, like, do you want to help? And I was like, yeah. They were like, we need artists. And I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that. So I wasn't a full-time artist back then, but I would show up in all the meetings and all my construction gear, and it was pretty awesome, you know. And so one of those days, Peterson was like, I'm a full-time artist. This is what I do. And it just struck a chord, you know, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a full-time artist. I know I can do it. I know I have the ability. And I mean, I got called to help build one of the biggest casinos, you know, in the Northwest. And I got called to help with that art, you know, and I have a long history on my coastal side, a huge lineage, because my mom is Puyallup, S'Klallam, and Saxawato, that lineage, you know, and those old stories that I learned, you know, from all of my tribes and my family members, and they just were pretty amazing. And so I got to bring those old stories that some of those guys didn't know, and they were all older than me, the other artists, and you know, I guess we lost a lot being in the city, being incorporated in, you know, to that city, and the distractions in the city. It's everyone kind of, it's easy to forget, you know, those stories about our ceremonies, how we used to do things. And anyway, I got to bring that to the table, and it was really fun. So if you ever go to the Emerald Queen and you see like the railings in there, there's like salmon designs. That was me. I really like doing salmon designs and fishing. I'm going fishing, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do lives videos from the fishing grounds, I guess, from the river. I know I can do it. So I'm gonna go talk to my brother Wolfman, and I'm gonna ask him if we're gonna go down, and I'm gonna ask him. Well, I'm gonna tell him, well, hey, you know, I'm gonna be doing art at noon, so I might be able to record directly from the river and fish. That would be awesome. Fishing and recording. That would be dope.
I'll just see if Uncle Lex has some final words of wisdom that I can.
Maybe I'll get back into smoked salmon. I don't know.
In the description box down below of the materials and some of the dimensions.
Wait, what? That sounded like plans. Did you have plans for this on your website?
Yeah, so remember, if you want to enter this free giveaway, all you have to do is like this video, share this video, comment done. That's all you have to do. And you automatically enter. Now, tomorrow when I go live, I will announce the winners. And you have to send me your address in order for me to know where to send it. Basically, I think I messed up.
All you need to build this awesome jig,
just keep going.
Piece of 3/4 plywood, 2 of the
Just keep going.
and a dovetail bit. Theirs it works well, but any 14-degree dovetail bit will work. I'm going to make this one 4 foot long. You can make it as long or as short as you want, but about 3 to 4 feet is best, depending on the length of board you typically joint or paper. First thing we're going to do is set our table saw up to rip a piece of scrap plywood 10 inches. You just need a 10-inch wide piece. That's all you need, about 3 foot long. The main thing here is that you get a piece of straight plywood. In other words, it's not bent, bowed, or anything like that. I'm using 3/4 inch sanded birch. You can use whatever kind you got as long as it's about 3/4 inch thick. We've got our plywood cut to size. I made mine 10 inches by 4 feet long. Now the next thing we're going to do is install a dovetail bit. This bit comes from Microjig and it works with their dovetail clamps, and I use that on a ton of things in the shop. I'm going to set this up at 3/8 inch deep cut because that's how deep you need to cut.
Oh, I messed up again.
2 inches from the center of the bit.
Darn it.
I have an edge guide. You can simply use a scrap piece of
This was supposed to be red. This is red. Okay, these two will be red at least. I'll put red in the mountain too. All right, I need to color in the edges of this before I keep forgetting. And on the Nisqually logo, it kind of just wiggles through there. It's not like a perfect design, you know. That's what I like about the Nisqually logo is, you know, how it's just kind of abstract, I guess. Because this isn't traditional form line, I don't think. I could be wrong. Like, I'm not a complete expert on the history of form line. I just know that this is the style of art that I do, and I appreciate it, you know, as an artist. And I know, like, Northern is different from Southern. I see the differences. I know traditional form line, and I know contemporary coastal style form line. And I prefer the latter. I really enjoy having the freedom of just going all out. Like, see this mountain. This mountain it uses the general shapes and ideas that come along with form line, but it's not traditional form line. A lot of galleries don't like that. They want me to fall in line with, you know, the rest of the cookie cutter style designs. You know, that's what I call them. It's just everyone basically just draws the same thing over and over and over. You know, and it drives me crazy. And I'm like, I like movement, realistic. Like the Lang guy. I think his name is Alex Lang. It's gonna bug me. I gotta look it up. Hold on. Let me finish this part right here, so I don't forget. Is it Alex Lang or Lange? He has movement in his art. Let me see if I can find it. I'll type his name up in the comments. You guys could look him up. He's an amazing artist. Alex Lange or Lang.
The way this works is you're just going to lay the board.
Let me look him up.
We're going to do jointing first.
L-A-N-G.
First slide on your Microjig dovetail clamps. Lay the board that you are jointing on top, and then just clamp it down. Super simple.
Is it Alex?
Now I can joint this board. I can joint boards probably, I would guess, up to 6 feet, because on the smaller, the 3 foot one, I could joint them up to about.
I just remember the Lang part. No, L-A-N-G-L-E-Y.
Once everything's clamped down, you're gonna put the square edge.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna bug me. Hold on. I think he has an art profile, so it's like Lang Art.
In other words, the width on each end. If the top one taper was 2 inches wide and the bottom was 1 inch.
Art Mendoza. Shout out to the brother Art Mendoza from the Victory Outreach.
You can even make stops.
Dude, it's gonna bug me.
Using the other part where they have, make it easier to make.
Oh, I think it's a group he made.
Extremely useful about this is now you can
Artist.
that'll clamp on to any
Speak Thunder Art, but baby.
Is if you have to make grooves in the ends of plywood or other panels or raised panels, if you wanted to angle that blade,
oh
you
man,
could use this.
I can't remember what his username is. But anyway, He's a awesome artist.
As you can see, this jig will work perfectly fine on a job site saw, a cabinet saw, anything you got.
Oh my gosh. Part of my table over here is metal, like chrome. And there was a reflection of the TV on it. But it looked like something was moving around on my table, and I freaked out for a second.
I like using the fence just as a guide because it makes it
Losing it.
simple, and you don't have to worry about trying to get
Losing it, man.
On thinner pieces, you'll want to make sure that your clamp is not going to contact that blade because it can get over that far if you're not careful. Just keep an eye on that. You'll be fine. If you enjoy shorter boards or you have a job site saw, this 4-foot version will work.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this paper. Like, it just looks really flat and smooth on the parts that are colored. But it's just really like, it's kind of got that rigid look. I don't know if you can pick it up on this camera, but I want to get better. I want to get better camera, better equipment. It's just going to take some time. And this art is for sale also. Remember, I also have my Patreon. If you want to support me on Patreon, that would be so amazing. I don't have one person that signed up for my Patreon, and yeah, if you guys want to help a brother out, I mean, I would just greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate
This
it.
micro jig match fit system is so versatile. I bought this myself, and I've enjoyed having it in the shop. I've used it on a ton of projects. I've used it in my previous workbench where I got the CNC, but before I was able to clamp things down before I had T-tracks. And I used it on my crosscut sled and the mobile workbench that I built previously that has a bunch of different clamping.
I gotta keep checking to make sure I'm in frame because I'm constantly like moving out of frame. Mostly down here because I like having it close to me when I'm drawing. I just feel like I have more control over the pen.
Nobody likes to see that. I'm going to show you how to make sure that never happens again to you. Also, I'm going to show you how to fix that once it does happen, plus many more pocket hole tips and tricks too. There is a very simple way to prevent that from ever happening again to you so that the pocket hole screw does not break through the other side of the board that you're joining. Let me show you how. So this is 1x material. This is the 1x6, and we're using the master pocket hole jig to join the two boards together. These are actually 3/4 of an inch thick. And so we've got our setting at 3/4 of an inch. You usually include a depth guide to set your pocket hole bit stop collar depth. The easiest and simplest way to make sure that doesn't happen when you're drilling pocket holes, it's extremely simple. You've got your depth.
I've only been on for 40 minutes.
Your bit at 3/4 of an inch and it's still breaking
I could normally do these a lot faster.
The stop collar.
It's just that I have to constantly look at the camera.
You can just rotate this depth guide around.
And I gotta keep y'all entertained with my amazing personality. And it's a lot, there's a lot of descriptions, and I mean, a ton of work goes into just one video.
This goes for all pocket hole jigs, no matter what brand you're using. I found this to be pretty common, especially when you're joining softwoods like spruce, pine, things like that, because they compress more because they're softer. Now, if I'm joining those two together,
I just gotta go over the sketch marks and get some of those little,
you set your stop collar, just like I showed you. I'll tell you
get those spots set.
If you like that first tip, stick around. I've got a lot more coming. I'm at 731works.com. They call me the Pocket Hole King. I've also got pocketholeking.com. If you go check that out. I want to teach you some things about pocket hole joining that may help you.
Make sure I'm getting those little spaces
I'm here
that,
to help you. Let's get started. So when you drive your pocket hole screws, you want to
little
make
white
sure
spaces,
down the pressure or the torque
all right.
that your drill, if it has
the
that
fun
setting,
part.
you can turn that down so that
I had
or same thing as your
a turquoise Sharpie,
you flip that down to a 1 so
and now I don't know where it's at.
force the screw through the other side.
It's gone. Darn it.
So you're making a project and one of your
But,
screws pops through if you didn't have the depth set correctly or you overdrove the screw. And now it's
Here, let's just work on the mountain for now.
Devastating, right? Because then you got a giant hole with this screw popping through, plus it split the wood a little bit. So how do we fix it? Well, the first thing you got to do is you're going to need to back that screw out. You want to back it till it's beneath the surface of the wood. Okay, and typically on a softwood, it is already torn through some of this stuff, and you want to get all that loose wood off of there because it's going to come off when you sand it anyway. If you're painting this, it really doesn't matter. You can use a wood filler, sand it, paint over it. Nobody's ever going to know except for you and the good Lord, right? But if you're staining it, then you're going to want that to blend with
you and the good Lord.
That's where this stuff comes in. I've got a whole video dedicated to CA glue. Basically, this is a colored super glue. It dries extremely fast when you use the accelerator with it. Okay, this stuff is so simple to use. It dries hard as a rock. So you're just going to take, this is brown. I like to use brown on if I'm staining with dark walnut, special walnut, that type of colors. If you're staining with a black color, then you would use the black colored CA glue. But you put a little dab on there, let it kind of soak in for just a minute, and then you'll take your activator, spray that activator on there. It's going to dry within 30 seconds, usually within about 15 or 20 seconds. It'll dry that CA glue up. Then you can sand that smooth, and it's going to look like a knot hole. And that's how you fix when those screws pop through like that. When you're putting together, especially like if you're doing panels, so we'll pretend this is a panel glue up where you're making a tabletop or something. When you use pocket holes, if these two edges aren't perfectly square, when the pocket holes tighten up, it's going to cause these two pieces of wood to camp a little bit like that. And when that happens, your tabletop's going to be all lumpy jawed because you'll have, say, 4 or 5 screws per board. And every time you tie one down,
that part has to dry a little because this paper is super absorbent. So I'm going to let it dry up there because if I go and take a red marker and I touch a little bit of the black, then the tip of the red is actually going to pull some of that black color and it'll smear it where the red is supposed to be. So that needs to dry for a minute.
Come in and sand that.
And this right here, I wanted to do turquoise or blue. Let me look at my pen. I seen them over here somewhere.
I didn't have one of these for a very long time. I really didn't think they were necessary, but I was absolutely wrong about that. So the way these work is there's 2 flat pieces of metal on each side, and they actually will tilt to fit the.
Found it. I found it. Wait, I lost it. Okay, I found it. Let's just hope it's not dried out.
When you put this face plate on like that, I got it close to that screw. This is perfectly flush now because these 2 pieces of wood are exactly the same.
Okay, so this should be dry. That should be dry. So I'm gonna do those first. Because I really don't want to get black into this marker and spread it. So I like to go at an angle like that. It keeps the tip sharp. If I'm like this, pointing straight down, then it'll actually make that tip a lot duller. It's gonna get dull no matter what, but I try to preserve it the best I can. Make it last a little longer. You can really get into those corners and angles when you try to preserve and you could really see how there's these little white spots in there. I can really use that tip to reach in there. And yeah, it helps a lot. So I try to preserve the tip of the pin the best that I can. And put in these little really tight, because if you push down hard on the black, it'll start mixing black in where the red is supposed to be. So when I get to those edges where the red pin meets the black ink, I just lightly touch it, and
you don't want that to happen. Use those outdoor screws for outdoor projects. They're about the same price as an interior screw.
I don't want it to absorb that black color, and so it's a little bit of a process, but
if you're drilling into hardwoods like oak,
when it's nice and clean though, and it comes out nice, it's worth it. It's worth going the extra effort, taking that extra effort, taking that extra step, just making it super clean. And
softwoods like pine and spruce, you're going to be using those coarse thread screws, and on hardwoods you'll be using these more fine thread. So you can really see the difference with them sitting side by side, the difference in the fine versus the coarse threads. The fine threads are made with that self-tapping tip so that it will help actually not split your hardwoods. So you make sure you use those fine threads for hardwood. Another good thing to remember is if you're using plywood, say 3/4 inch or half.
All right, we got the red in there. Yeah.
Whatever you're making out of plywood, you need a pocket hole joining those things together.
Let me see. I was just looking at. Okay, there's a little spot here. Put that in.
So if you're going to be setting your pocket hole jig at 3/4 of an inch,
Oh, right here. This is bugging me.
It's going to drill too deep. The actual thickness of the plywood, and even in this case here, where I've got this piece, it's about a full 1/16 inch shot of 3/4 of an inch. Well, you want to make sure you set the depth correct on your pocket hole jig.
All right. I haven't used this marker maybe in a year or two, so I don't even know if it works, but I just got to wing it.
I typically just call it a thingamajig clamp. This one's made from Craig. It's a really good clamp. It is that same flat metal piece that will adjust a little bit to however it's oriented on the board. And it's got a 3/8 inch metal dowel actually made into it. And you're just going to clamp that into that pocket hole. So if you've got 2 pocket holes or a long panel, you can actually take this and help hold it in place. This thing's fantastic. I should have got one of these a very, very long time ago. Now, these are a little more expensive than your face clamp. This one, I think, is like $30 or so. I'll put a link in the description below to the thingamajig clamp. But these work awesome if you're trying to.
I'm trying to get that color of the net. The nicer nets tend to be like this brighter turquoise looking color. So, I mean, the net going around this fish's tail it's high quality, man. We're coming with the best. We're coming with the best here with this Nisqually Nation.
Of the thickness of the lumber. So you just set that stock collar to where the shoulder of this bit, not the blown point, but this shoulder right here is about halfway to the thickness of your stock or your piece of wood. And then you'll just tighten down that stock collar, make sure that it's actually on the flat part of your drill bit and it doesn't go down into the groove just because it won't tighten up right. So now you can use this to countersink a screw. So I'm joining these two without pocket. If I'm not using a pocket hole for whatever reason.
Anybody else like watching these videos or just playing it in the background? Or is it just me?
Hole for the countersink. You can just take a wood dowel like this.
All right, it's starting to look a little funky.
Put a little wood glue on it.
It's all good.
Bottoms out. Just take a flush trim saw at that
Just keep
point.
trucking it, man.
Trim the dowel off. You can
just keep going.
Give you a good little. Now you can see that dowel is right there. You
just keep going. Just keep going.
A different option for joinery if you don't want those pocket hole screws showing, but you still want to screw everything together. You can just use those dowel rods and fill that hole. You got a perfectly drilled 3/8 inch countersunk hole. You can use those 3/8 inch dowels to fill that.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the tools,
I like that.
Supplies that we're using in this video, there's a link in the description below. Take it to this product. I don't get a lot of questions. You can just use a regular screw instead of a pocket hole. I don't recommend that.
You know what? I think I'm gonna leave that white for the snow, right? Because I was gonna make that all red, but I mean, I think it looks better white. And I'm not being lazy. I promise, I'm not being lazy. All right, there's my signature, Thunder, aka Speak Thunder. I don't know if I should put the date on there or not. I've been debating it to represent that this was done live on this day. I'm going to do it. Today's 16 or 18th, 4/18/2024. 4/18/2024. Yeah. And that's another one for y'all's. This design is available for sale. It's going to be a part of the grand soft opening in my partnership in Madras, Oregon, where I'm going to have a huge section of drums and all that. So, yeah. Basically, we got to do our winners. Hold up.
And you can even see here, it continues to push on through until it'll actually drive on past where that shoulder's at. And it'll actually go too deep or it'll bust the wood because it wasn't It was made for this type of. You know what time it is. Power tip. So my power tip for pocket hole joinery is to always, always, always have an extra pocket hole drill bit on hand. If you've been using pocket hole joinery very long at all, you know that the tips of these pocket hole bits are very, very brittle and fragile. You'll drop it, it'll hit the pavement, and the next thing you know, well, bam, you've broken the tip off and it no longer works as a pocket hole bit. So it actually don't work for anything. You just throw it away. They're not expensive at all, so make sure to pick up a couple. I usually keep at least 2 or 3 on hand because I'm very clumsy. I'll drop the pocket hole bit, and it'll hit the concrete and then break the tip right off. When you do throw them away, keep the stop collar because they're still good, and you may need one down the road. Here's a bonus tip for you. This is a rare earth magnet. They are very, very, very sticky. They will stick to metal. This is aluminum. It won't stick to that.
All right, yesterday's winners.
Won't stick to that. All that's aluminum. But this piece,
Jane and Chola.
It'll stick to
You guys
that.
won again. You guys are ruthless, man.
Bits will stick to it. And so will your Allen wrenches,
So,
that you can adjust.
Jane won twice. Chola
This
won
is
twice.
extremely handy because it keeps everything
You
right.
guys might as well just work for me at this point. Because you guys keep winning. Like I said, like, comment, share. Jane, message me again. Chola, message me again. Follow up so I do not forget. I am doing a lot here. I'm just by myself. So Jane and Chola, shoot me that message, and we'll get you guys your guys' prize. Make sure you guys post it and tag me on Speak Thunder Art. May the good Creator bless you and watch over you and your family and protect you all. And I pray good health over you. To all my relations, aho, nai, amen. God bless you guys. I'll see you later, man.